What do you hear? What do you say? Kind of a bittersweet show tonight, isn't it, King? We're going to be taking a little bit of a break after here tonight. And Be kind of needed, but we're going to have some hot topics going on tonight. Some nice little civil debate. Am I correct? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, and you're getting me midweek on a Wednesday. Ooh, this is going to be bad. Hey, but quick shout out to our friends over there on our Wednesday night, TZ and Radar with the smoke bit because they're still not going anywhere as of right now. But we're going to be taking the Wednesday slot over, so we're going to hold it down on that. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's no need to make the prize any bigger because if it's okay, I would love for everybody to join. In fact, I would love to see if we can get it as like a 20-person league. See if we can get two leagues going on and maybe have a league, two league championships. The reason why I say that is because there is nobody who is going to beat the reigning and defending WTF Nation Radio Fantasy Football League champion. So maybe we should do something to make that a little bit easier because nobody is going to end up beating the reigning and defending fantasy football champion. And we've got to be fair to all of the hosts and all of the people that listen to WTF Nation Radio and the Sports Bar and all of our shows because there is, we got to give them something good for them to win, something for them to aspire to, something for them to kind of become, like the reigning and defending WTF Nation Radio Fantasy Football Champion. I don't know. That's kind of a nice title. Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we come to you live 7 nights a week on U.S. Army WTF U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio on Facebook, YouTube, X, and that's over the three that we're already on right now because we're not on Kick anymore. Tomorrow night we've got the Monday edition with Ice and Ship, and then on Tuesday we've got Pop Culture Warrior. He's got some guest on. On Wednesday, we got Radar and TZ. They're going to be coming back. Hopefully, pretty soon we'll have something there. But yeah, that's what will end up happening. And then on Thursday, we've got Sergeant's Time with Ice and Spanky. On Friday, we have FTX. Yes, King may not be coming to you live with sports, but you're going to be damn sure that he's going to spend his Friday nights stuck into a basement with men. That's the way he loves to spend his weekends, is being stuck in the basement with men playing children's games. Oh, that sounds a little bit weirder than the way I put it out, but that's what FTX sounds like. That's what FTX is. You'll be checking out CQ and everybody on FTX on Friday. And then on Saturday, Nemo will be coming live to you with weekend ops, weekend co ops. And on top of that, I want to bring up something real great with what Nemo's got happening. If you guys haven't checked it out, they've been doing some streaming with a nonprofit that does service dog stuff. So I want you all to take a look, go back on WTF Nation Radio along our timeline and U.S. Army WTF moments. Look for our boy Nemo. Check out his announcement and check out the games that he's going to be doing. And, it's a great thing looking on Saturday. And then, well, you come back on Sunday. Oh, yeah, that's right. We're not live 7 nights a week. We're live 6 nights a week because the month of July absolutely sucks for sports. Let's be quite freaking honest here. From now all the way up until the training camp starts and maybe we get some preseason football games, there is absolutely nothing on the sports schedule that I want to watch. And I'm saying this as a diehard Yankee fan. I don't want to watch baseball. Number one, I can't even find baseball. We've talked about that with the cable bill and everything that they have with how their teams are being or how their games are being shown. I don't want 17 different places to go see the games that I want to watch. So I'm not watching baseball unless the Yankees are somehow on and there really is absolutely nothing left at the end of Pornhub. I mean, on the end of YouTube. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. I cannot watch NBA Summer League basketball. I mean, that's the only professional basketball that happens during the summer, and I don't like NBA, Summer League basketball. So I'm going to wait until, October until basketball comes back. And we lost hockey because everything is too hot. Let's be quite honest, football can't dominate everything. It's good to take a daggone break, and this break is going to be needed because over the next month, while you're over in Japan, I am going to be surfing. I'm going to be stand up paddle boarding and I'm going to be building houses. So I'm actually okay with it. And I'm going to be floating down a river. I'm going to be doing water sports and building stuff. So yeah, that's what coach is going to be doing. And I'm kind of happy about that. While you're having fun over there in Japan, I will be having my own fun, but no sports until football comes back because baseball has lost my attention. NASCAR, I mean, look, I've given up on NASCAR right now. Formula One, they're not coming back to the United States until October. And as of right now, there is a great match, but nobody else watches Formula One unless you've gone to see that movie. And if you have gone to see that movie, well, you're going to have a different experience than I'm going to have tomorrow night when I go see that movie. But why do I say that? Because I know, all right, so King, when you see so all right, no, this is all for our audience because all of our audience will be able to relate to this. When you are a fan or you are in something and you studied things, you can tell the difference between what's real and what has been extended for fantasy sake. All right, we do that a lot with military movies. Am I right? Oh, yeah, it drives us nuts when we see shit in uniform wrong or they're saying something that they're not supposed to be saying or something is completely different. And yeah, I get that. I'm also that way about sports movies. I mean, the reason why I think Major League and Bull Durham are the two greatest movies is because Charlie Sheen and not Kurt Russell, daggone it, John Dutton, whatever his name is, Kevin Costner, they made their characters look like legitimate athletes. Charlie Sheen looked like is a legitimate pitcher. Okay. When I look at these other movies, I'm not seeing Freddie Prince Jr. really throwing a fucking perfect game. So I get a little upset about this. And I'll be quite honest with you, those guys in Hoosiers, man, their fundamentals are absolutely terrible. All right. But I will say the most realistic sports movie that I've seen outside of the eye getting gouged out was Any Given Sunday with Willie Beeman. Oh, you remember that movie? Yeah, there we go. See, but I would say realistic as far as the way it goes. So when it comes to Formula One, I am anticipating that this is going to be one of those ones where if you've never seen a Formula One race and know the telemetry, know the everything about the aero and how fast these cars go, and it's like, holy shit, this is really freaking awesome. Yeah, you're gonna have a good time. But when you know, when you're thinking of me, where I'm going to be looking for all of the drivers, I'm going to be looking for the crew chiefs. I'm going to be looking to see if the racing is truly realistic. Like if he's going over in Eau Rouge and he's trying to do an overtake without spinning out on the at the flat and ended up like freaking impaling himself on Eau Rouge at the top, then it might be a little bit unrealistic for me. It's kind of like, somebody going up on somebody hitting a game-winning home run out of fucking Yankee Stadium is what I'm trying to get to. Not the game-winning home run. I'm talking about the game-winning home run gets the fuck out of Yankee Stadium and clears not only the bleachers but clears like the fucking stands, the homeless guy in the back, the hot dog cart, and it hits some bum out there on the street who's charging $25 for 50 for like for a hat that he got off the back of the truck. That kind of place. That's where my unbelievableness comes in. But I'm really looking forward to it because it's Formula One. It's something I'm really freaking passionate about. And I hope that this movie will then, in turn, finally bring people to Formula One racing, much the way I accidentally picked it up in 2021 and didn't know about the other series they had called Drive to Survive on Netflix. That's a hell of a lot more glorified or more made up than than you would actually think as far as reality series. But that's where I come from F1. So, am I going to be a little bit disappointed, much in the same way that I would be disappointed watching Angels in the Outfield? Yes. But am I going to enjoy it because of the subject matter? Hell the fuck yes, I am. Mm-hmm. Ha ha! Good. Yeah. Good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? You're right. You are right on that. You need to be down there in the paddock. That's where you need to be. Yeah. And I don't blame you. Ye- Yeah. Now that is where you're going to find out how expensive Formula One is because that gets a hell of a lot. I will say that NASCAR is a hell of a lot more affordable, and you can get that hot pass access where you're able to walk around in the garage area and on the pit lanes and in the infield during the races, depending on tracks and things like that. They have hot passes and track passes and things like that. Formula One paddock passes, a lot of them are invite only, but a lot of the ones that if you are going to buy one, oh my, you are going to spend five figures at least. And I want to second you on that flying first class versus flying there. And I have found my little cheap ass way around it, and that's because I volunteer and try to change myself to the exit row every time that I fly. I need that. I want that leg room, and you know what? The exit row, I'll be okay doing it. I've got no problem doing it. I just I want the fucking leg room, man. So I'm okay without having to travel first class. If I'm in regular coach, which normally I am, I'm usually right there in the front, or I'm right there at the seat that's got the exit row, or I'm in that one seat that they have to get rid of in order to get rid of the plane, so that's not an exit row, but you have all like no seat in front of you. Yeah, I do that too. Oh, hmm, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, the hotel is nuts on that weekend. Like you know, the big fight weekends. You know how they get generate money from that, and the hotels used to be cheap. No, the when I remember when they announced that Las Vegas thing, they came out with the room listing for all of the places on the strip where they were going to run past, and you could see it from there. And you were looking at $20,000 to $25,000 for rooms for that weekend. Frickin' yo, we
I
cut off. What happened?
no, people could hear you. Everything I just said, nobody could hear me this entire time. Pete,
All right, guys. Oh, the whole time about the movie and all that. Oh shit!
everything, man. Oh my goodness. First of all,
Hey,
Pete,
gone.
thank you. I was so worried about coach's mic and stuff working that I didn't even check mine. Goodness gracious. Okay, well, y'all, this is the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio.
Wait, hold on. How long have you been on that mute since you got back on? Since the beginning of the show?
Since the beginning of the show.
Oh, holy shit!
Yes. So,
Nobody's got fucking so there's just me talking, your mouth moving, and no context of what the fuck I'm even talking about.
nope.
Holy shit, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for those that stayed on. Thank you for staying on so long because I'm literally just responding to King. Holy fuck.
Wow. Okay, so let's do a quick recap because this is important. So, quick recap. Coach and I are moving to Wednesday starting in August. The first Wednesday in
Oh, yeah,
August
that's
is
right.
going to be the new sports bar here at WTF Nation Radio. Same time. It's going to be 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time Zone. We're taking the whole month off of July. It's two reasons. One, we're doing a refresh. So, we're going to have glitz, glamour, the chat's gonna be easier. Coach might get an avatar refresh, the whole nine. Second of all, I'm going to Japan, so I'm taking vacation. My daughter and my lady and I are gonna go to Japan for almost 2.5 weeks. So that is kind of the necessary reason for us just taking the entire month of July off. Um, the smoke pit on Wednesdays may be moving to Sundays, may be moving to a later time on Wednesdays. Tune in to Radar Show as he lays out what he's going to do for that. We've talked about Formula One, the movie. Coach, y'all heard him, but what I said was it's a fantastic movie. I think that if you get the opportunity to go see it in 40X. Nemo and CQ both said that at sometimes the rumbling in the seats was a little bit distracting, but see, I don't mind that kind of stuff. To me, it wasn't distracting or whatnot. And you are now caught up. Pete, thank you for letting us know that. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate you, pal.
All right, man. Whew. Okay.
Thank God, man. That's got to be, man. All right. So when we go back, we got to like delete like the first 20 fucking minutes of the show.
Man.
Jeez.
To all, let's see, I think it was 80 something viewers at the time. To all 80 something viewers who were watching, thanks for sticking
Great.
around.
Great, great. Dude, Jesus Christ!
Okay.
All the Russian and Chinese spies that watch this channel, they're going to be wondering what in the hell kind of Asian dubbing are we doing with our show today? Where you speak and then nothing comes out, and then all of a sudden I start speaking like I'm translating.
Yes, sir. All right. So now that we're caught up, let's acknowledge who all
Ah,
have commented so far. Shout out to God
yeah,
Happened to
God.
Me and Michelle Early over on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you. If there's a like button on the platform that you're watching this on, do us a favor, hit that like button. Shout out to Greek Pete. He's in the building and said that I was talking to myself. Thank you for highlighting that, my man. And said that the King curse strikes again. It absolutely did. Let's see. Richard Bronco over on YouTube. Richard's in the building said, fights, check out the last street stock race from Bowling Green Stadium. And that the guy drop kicked the windshield after being dumped after the flag. I'm going to see if I could find that. Is that on YouTube?
I saw that. Yeah, that is up. But it was, oh God, hold on. I think it might be on Bowman Gray State. Let me double check it. I'll send it to you if it's in
Okay.
there.
Let's see. Pete said they can't take too much edibles. Let's see what's going to happen with the smoke pit. Yeah, so they're just moving to either a different time, Pete, or a different date. But Radar is going to announce that on his show. So for those of y'all that tune in to the smoke pit on Wednesdays at 8, check out Radar's next live stream or his upcoming live streams, and he'll be able to let y'all know what date he's going to be, what date and time he's going to be moving to. Okay. Did you find it, Coach?
I found it. It's a 2 minutes 37-second video that I found
Okay.
that had it. Yeah, I'm gonna double check to see if I got see if I can just get.
All right, cool. I just got a photo by a viewer here, and I'm gonna see if I can bring this up here. This is hilarious. Let me see if I can work this. Okay, so this was apparently breaking news here, and I gotta bring this up. Y'all know who Adam Schefter is. He's a sports analyst, and he'll add certain things. And we got breaking news, and put this up on the screen. Tom Brady was reportedly motorboating actress Sydney Sweeney at Jeff Bezos' wedding, and according to sources, hasn't surfaced for air for over 3 hours. I'm pretty sure that there are
Uh,
1,000 people to
I got
infinity.
I got the 2 minute 37-second video. I can't find that one, but oh, I love that shit.
Yes.
Man, he's upgraded. Giselle went all the way for an MMA guy, and now frickin', he's gone for Sydney Sweeney.
Tom Brady went down to the junior college, and I ain't mad at him.
Oh Jesus!
I ain't mad at him one bit. Shout out to the viewer who sent that one in. All right. So
Yep.
let's see. What else do we have here? Let's get into one. Yeah. Here at WTF Nation Radio, we support the WNBA. So
No, we
much
don't.
so that we often show WNBA clips. And one of our favorite people to show is Angel Reese. So let's take a look over here and let's see what old Angel Reese has been up to here lately. And here we go.
Angel Reese, part 46. Let's get it.
Butter.
Butter pecan. Burn. The infamous Angel Reese long two. We're so back, baby. How about it? Burn.
Hell no. No.
Mashed potatoes. Burn.
She's getting all these rebounds. She's getting double-doubles. She's actually playing really good.
But they're not winning. Why's that? Bang! That one MC Hammer song go. Nah, 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 nah. Can't touch this. Bang! Welcome to the circus, everyone. Grab your popcorn. Da, 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 da. Bang!
hesitation, lull her to sleep. Oh, you got it right by her.
Ruh-roh, Shaggy. We got a problem. Bang!
Anyone have hand sanitizer? Because this is flat out disgusting. A girl that's not working, just stop, please.
Bang!
You got your Meebow merch? Put it on right now.
This is your time to shine. This is what you paid for. Bang!
What do you mean? It's Sunday. Why aren't the pray-ups going in the hoop? Come on. Bang.
Did he say pray ups?
Pray ups. Yes. Pray ups. Pray ups.
I like that. Pray ups.
Pray ups, me bounds, baby giraffe, butter pecan, bang!
Man, y'all, that's an example of right there that once you get something, you can ride that to earn you some side money or whatever to pay off your mortgage, your rent, your car note, whatever. That man is a genius for creating that and keeping it going.
So let's bring this up because we didn't talk about this last week, did we? No. Remember where I sent that message about this earlier this week?
Keep going.
So Miss Butter Pecan has brought a cease and desist order to our other favorite video people.
Yes.
Yes. So, for those of you that don't know, whatever the Canadian betting site was that was putting the bets on whether Angel Reese was going to miss her first shot of the game, and they were putting $10,000 on, and they were winning, and then Celine Dion, went crazy, and well, they ended up getting a cease and desist order from, we presume, the law firm of, Screwdum, Did It, and How, that Miss Angel Reese has, got a retainer on, and has given them a cease and desist order. So the last video that they did, they had to block out whether that player's name, etc., missed the first shot, and which might I add she did. But they couldn't go on with that anymore, and now we are not going to see them betting on whether or not she misses her first shot, or at least not going to see her missing her first shot or making her first shot.
Yep. Now, legally, if you followed the legalese behind things, part of what they were doing is something that we try not to do is showcase footage that could get us zucked or whatever. So they used the law to use that as one of the things that they couldn't do, because they were using just the straight up copyrighted footage as they were putting out their videos. And that's something that content creators have to care about, following the law.
And let me ask the question, do you think it had anything to do with her, or do you think it had to do with also using the Celine Dion song? Because I don't know the whole copyright as far as the music, because I would sure love to update like our song to like are we allowed like 20 seconds of, I know Ice does it with Natural Born Killers, at the beginning of his show, but how long do we have that we could use like copyrighted music?
It depends on the purpose. So I've looked into this because I do my own vlogging and things like that, and and depending on who you are, there's a certain limit to what you can get away with without having to purchase the rights specifically to whoever owns the music. So I believe us as media can use up to 18 to 20 seconds or something like that without getting hit with the copyright ban. I'm not sure about that though.
Okay, now here's the reason why I bring that up, and I'm just bringing it up because I actually saw some dude in England, and he has utilized Green Day songs like all throughout his video as he's making montages of him building shit.
Oh,
So I don't know how that ended up happening. And I always figured the Celine Dion thing was what got it because of, playing that song and all of that crap and being associated with it. I figured Celine Dion wouldn't want to be associated with Angel Reese. It would tarnish her image. So that's the reason why she sent the cease and desist.
nice.
But you see where I'm getting at, yeah. No, I know that was completely off sports subject, but yeah,
Now, let's see. Richard Bronco said that they used 30 seconds on theirs without getting their PP swacked. That's like around that 20 seconds is what I've seen people use without getting their stuff muted. Now, and this is just for y'all content creators out there, like if you're interested in doing live streaming, there's a lot of things that you have to think about, and we could talk about this just real
yeah.
real quickly. um I did a video where I put out a video and it was a compilation of 4 or 5 songs. None of the songs that were on there were longer than 15 seconds, but I guess because of the type of usage, and 2 of those were Beyonce songs, and Beyonce does not play about her rights, the entire video got blocked in all countries and could not be shown or sent out by YouTube. But it was like I could do it on Instagram and it was fine. So all I have to say, I'm not sure of exactly like what the rules are. I think some things are just platform specific, and others it just depends on who owns the rights to the music and how they choose to enforce things.
I got it, yeah, and probably, I don't know. It just all depends. Yeah. So anyway, you know what, that'll be something I'll look up for the next month because, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now let's see, Coach. I gotta prep some things up here, but while we do, let's acknowledge David Cunningham over on Facebook said, "Hey King and Coach. Hey David, man, I appreciate you
David.
popping in." Let's see. I have to bring up an image here, and Coach, while I do that, let's get us set up. Let's go to the main topic for today
All right.
here.
Yeah, you know what? I'll actually bring this up and I'll give a little light introduction on the main topic. But
Okay.
with the passing of Pete Rose, and now with what has transpired with Major League Baseball, of having Shoeless Joe Jackson and a lot of the people who's already passed away and is on the ineligible wish or ineligible list, they are now posthumously added back into the eligibility list for Major League Baseball, thus clearing a path for them to be elected in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose's death and this passing of it has now essentially brought the debate to an end. There is now a path for Pete Rose, who is passed, to be elected in the Hall of Fame, plus Shoeless Joe Jackson, which is what I'm actually a little bit more happy about.
Okay.
Now, that debate has been for sports radio for numerous years. And by the way, just tell me when you're done.
I'm ready.
Okay, but that debate's now over. So, what are sports? I asked this question: what's the sports radio and what sports discussion is going to be that default topic that no matter what happens, when you don't have any type of subject or any type of sports or anything like we had for the past week, what would be that one topic? And our topic, I believe, for what we have, is now going to become the new default sports radio sports debate topic now that Pete Rose is gone. And that's going to be a debate that we're going to have probably until we leave this earth. Okay. This debate that we're going to have tonight.
Copy all.
Oh, yeah.
Now let's see. We got 2 things here. Richard Bronco says, "So much for the drop kick and windshields. Peace out." Hey Richard, thanks for tuning in. We couldn't get the video up in time enough, but we appreciate you popping in, brother. Thanks for tuning in. We
Yeah.
give you a salute. David Cunningham said, "What do you think about Jake Paul at this point? Is his boxing legit or just cosplay?" Let's quickly hit on that. I'll go
Yeah.
first.
Go ahead.
I think that what Jake Paul is doing is definitely sports entertainment. I'm not that analytical of a boxer to like look at his skill and say that his boxing skill is like top tier and things like that. But he's definitely bringing eyeballs and money to the sport based off of his name and his celebrity and his clout. Now, I think, in my opinion, as somebody that watches for the entertainment of it, it's great for the entertainment factor. Coach is more of a aficionado of boxing than I am, so I'm going to give the mic to him and let him give his thoughts on it.
Jake Paul has the basic pugilist skills down, and he's got some power behind his punch. He also knows how to take a punch, knows how to dodge, put up the block, and he's at the sport of boxing. He has taught himself and he's learned, and he is now a veteran boxer. I can't believe I'm actually saying this. And I did say that he was, and the only reason why I watched that fight was because of Mike Tyson. I say this that he is legit because there is more legit boxers that are out that we don't ever hear of. Period. That are more legit than Jake Paul is, but we just don't see him. Do I think that he is right now more sports entertainment than sport? Yes, I do. But I will also say that there has to be that sport in the sports entertainment. As much as I don't like professional wrestling because of the people involved, there's not one thing that I do not distinguish out of every single one of them, and that is athleticism. Every single one of those people that are in there, whether they're there to entertain because they're there to entertain you, they are athletes. Okay, I am going to say that it does take athleticism to help lift up somebody and suplex them, etc. So there is that sport part of it. Now there's more sport in boxing than there is entertainment, but there always is an entertainment aspect. And this is going to sound bad. This is not the same because it's an individual sport, but actually, no, I am going to say this. He's a little bit more successful than this. He's more successful than Anna Kournikova. There we go with that. But I am putting him on like that Anna Kournikova level when she was playing tennis versus the way that everybody else was playing tennis. Because at that time, she was like number 12 or 15 in the world or something like that. And everybody thought she was like, because she was so good looking, she was great. No, her beauty kept up everything from why everything was good. So that being said, he's doing something right now in a dead sport. It is. Boxing is a dead sport. He's a light for it. I respect him for it. Do I think but let's also look as well at his opponents. He's fought some MMA fighters who are not boxers. He has fought some over the hill guys. Listen, Mike Tyson did not look good at all, and I even have to admit that. He has fought the kids of great champions. All right. I mean, that's great that that it would be great if I could beat Richard Petty, but it would be nothing if I could beat Kyle Petty. All right. Hey, look, if I beat a James in basketball and I told you it was Bronny James, you would be more believable than me beating LeBron. Okay. You see where I'm coming from about that. All right. Don't give me the Scalabrini shit either about Bronny James because I know he'd whip my ass. Paul would whip my ass too. Paul would whip every single one of our asses. Paul may not whip the asses of 85% of the boxers that are professional boxers, but there's that 15%, and then there's also those amateurs and the other types of disciplines that he will give a payday to see if they can try to do it. So, legitimate, yeah, as legitimate as he can be right now. Entertainment more? Yes, he's definitely more entertainment than he is that. But ride the wave until he's either punch drunk or he beats the shit out of somebody and loses his reputation and goes to jail for a while.
All right. So
there's only two paths he could go.
all right. So I don't know if you watched the Paul Chavez fight. I didn't.
I did not. I didn't either.
All right, I didn't, but I've got the stats up here, and if you take a look at the stats, then there was clearly a winner in this, as Jake Paul did win unanimously. But I don't know, like there's a bit of a size advantage that Paul has over his opponent, and also he's younger, and there is something that you can add to where you could give a bonus or a plus to youth. where he did fight a former middleweight champ. I'll give him that, right? It's not like he had this fight against a nobody. But it's not like he was fighting a Chavez in his prime either.
Hey, and by the way, might I also add, Kyle Petty is also a race winner in NASCAR. I think he's like a 6-time race winner. So I mean, Kyle Petty is legit. Bronny James, no, he's not.
So, David, a win like this, I think it legitimizes him in the sport. Absolutely. He's bringing eyes to the sport. I'm not going to call him a boxer because I don't know the sport like that. I'm a spectator, but I definitely think that Jake Paul is entertaining to watch.
I won't be watching his next fight, but I will. We will definitely be reporting it because by the time that his next fight will be on, we'll be a couple months back from our break. Yeah.
All right. So, here we go. Now, Coach, how do you want to set this up? How do you want to start with this? Because I've got a monologue built.
Go. You know what, King? I'm gonna introduce it as this because this debate is now the debate. Sports will be talking about this, whether we're talking about it on a radio on a slow day, whether we're talking about it intensely with these players, whether we're talking about it in measurement with the NBA, whether we're talking about the greatest athletes of all time. This debate, the greatest of all time in professional basketball, is now going to be our debate. It's our Pete Rose. We have one definitive greatest of all time. And we have multiple contenders that consider themselves the greatest of all time. And we have one very strong contender who can say that he, at his time, when he played, might have been the greatest of all time, might even be in his era. There's others, but ladies and gentlemen, the GOAT debate, the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Now, I know that this topic's going to be heated, and I know that we've got some strong beliefs, but I am going to do something that I'm absolutely shocked at. All right? I am going to start this off by saying this to you, King. In my defense or in my research for this, and I've got a lot of research in this, and not just, research online, but life research, because I lived through this with MJ. LeBron has the best case out of any greatest of all time, including Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem. LeBron has the greatest case to be brought up against it due to the longevity. And I would like to see how you are equating how LeBron James is doing that, because my defense for Michael Jordan is going to be extensive, my friend.
Okay.
It's going to be definitive. And I would really like to see what everybody is commenting on this. And I am going to read the comments, but I would really love to see everybody bring this debate up, because this debate fuck it. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. We could throw a freaking poll up here. Man, I wish we could do that up here. But I would love to see everybody's input, their comments about this. Let's get started talking about this. The greatest of all time, MJ versus LeBron. So, King, I now defer to you, my good sir. Your defense for Mr. LeBron James.
All right. So let me get this off the screen and let me get this on the screen. And boom. Okay. Let me crack my knuckles here. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I stand here before you not to deny the greatness of Michael Jordan, but to present the undeniable, statistical, historical, and extremely logical case laid out by me that the crown of GOAT belongs to none other than LeBron James. Because in the court of basketball immortality, rings alone do not establish supremacy, which Coach is probably going to bring up during his defense of why Michael Jordan is the GOAT. But the full body of work is what represents a greatest of all time. Now let me start with Exhibit A, longevity and durability. My GOAT, LeBron James, has performed at an elite level for over 20 years. He has never taken a break. He didn't have a 2-year retirement like Michael Jordan did. He did not quit while in his prime. No gambling suspensions, just relentless consistency. This is a man who did not dip in and out of greatness, but stayed great from the moment that he came in until we see his final year, as he's been a man that has not left the court. All right? When I go to Exhibit B, we're talking about the statistical supremacy. You are speaking about the man who is the NBA's all-time leading scorer with over 40,000 points. And he didn't do it just by being a ball hawk. No, he's got the assists and rebounds to go along with those numbers. Coach is probably going to talk about Michael Jordan's scoring and everything that he did. But when you look at the scoring to assist ratio, Jordan doesn't come close to what LeBron is. LeBron leads the entire NBA in career playoff points. He has more triple-doubles, more All-NBA selections, and more All-Star appearances than Jordan's. These are not opinions. These are facts. Exhibit C, versatility. Jordan, he won in one system with one coach and one all-time wingman in Scottie Pippen. LeBron has won in not one, not two, but 3 different cities with 3 different coaches under 3 different entirely playing styles. He is the engine, not the beneficiary of those teams. Let's talk about Exhibit D, tougher competition. Let's not forget who LeBron James went up against. He saw the Spurs dynasty during their prime. He saw the Warriors dynasty during their prime. That same Warriors dynasty that had the greatest regular season team ever with 73-9 and beat them while being down 3-1. And LeBron did that without having his all-star forward for half of that series. Jordan never saw competition that was that stacked, that deep, or that dangerous. So let's be clear. Jordan's path was dominant, but LeBron's was more lethal and more dangerous. My final exhibit before I present closing arguments: off-the-court integrity and impact. LeBron James has never had a scandal, never been suspended, and has lifted communities with his school, his foundation, and his leadership. He's a father, husband, and a billionaire who empowers rather than isolates. People think of LeBron James, and some people call him a great leader and inspiration. Michael Jordan was known as a phenomenal basketball player, but those that would come up to him and see him in public, some people called him an asshole. Can we truly call somebody the greatest of all times if their greatest stops at just what they're good at? So in closing, Michael Jordan gave us some dominant moments, absolutely. When you don't see people going around saying LeBron the way that they do Kobe or Jordan. I'll give you that. Jordan has its own shoe, the Jumpman. I'll give you that too. But when we're talking about GOATness, LeBron James has given us excellence over decades. LeBron has perfected that killer instinct, not only mastering just the offense and defense, but in leadership, total game, and adaptability. So, I ask y'all, the viewers, if basketball is more than highlights, if it is the sum of greatness across time, stats, struggle, and success, then I rest my case that the GOAT, which is the greatest of all times, in basketball history is none other than LeBron James.
You know what? I'm going to give you some props here, King. Longevity wise, LeBron James has played longer than anybody. When he came in the league at 18 years old in 2003, it was very possible that he could play into his 40s. We've had people play into his 40s, and I applaud LeBron for going 22, now almost going to be 23 years next year with Luka. Oh, by the way, I'm just going to say this. I will also give props to LeBron James for becoming the GM of all the teams he was playing for. I will give him credit for that because that's the groundbreaking off the court thing that he did for the NBA. LeBron James, okay, and by the way, King, I also sent 4 pictures to you. When I tell you, go ahead and put 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order. I'll give you which pictures to put up, but definitely you're going to put up one when just tell me when you're ready to put up one, okay?
Okay.
But another thing in your defense regarding LeBron, all right, I keep bringing it up.
No. I've got some of these photos already. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, like I'm not sure. Well, never mind. I'll present just like you asked for.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That there's a reason why I wanted to bring that up because these are kind of counterpoints as far as your as that. But now, where was I regarding LeBron? 20 years we had going from that, and then I was bringing up the impact. Okay, yeah. So now the NBA, and thank God it's doing this because they are probably better than any league. I'm talking about Major League Baseball, hockey, soccer, definitely. Sure as fuck not the WNBA, and definitely not football. You know, our beloved sport. The players in the NBA now have more control over their future than any of the suits and any of the owners do in any of the other sports.
Okay.
LeBron James started that up. They brought that whole thing up on the Redeem Team in 2008. They had that whole thing planned when they were going for the gold in the 2008 Olympics, and they planned the whole thing out. Shoot. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I am going to say that having the number 1 pick 3 out of 4 years and trading Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love so that LeBron James can come back to Cleveland is also a phenomenal, great move. I'm not going to say he had anything to do with it, but it's also like that move that Danny Ainge made to get Kevin Durant over from Minnesota when he traded for Ray Allen. All right. By the way, that was another Hall of Fame teammate that LeBron had that you failed to mention about how many Hall of Fame teammates he's played for. Oh, but I'm also going to bring this up too, and this is something that worth mentioning. Definitely worth mentioning. LeBron James was the greatest high school basketball player of all time, period. And I know because I was following him his junior year. I've never followed a junior in high school unless I was in high school or I knew that person. And I had my whole adulthood, and I would have already been graduated college. I went back to go look at high school basketball when LeBron James was a freaking junior. His high school career was immaculate. Now, never had a college career. I'll bring that up in one of the points here in a minute. But he, by far, was the greatest number 1 pick in the NBA draft. Bar none. Bar none. You can go ahead and put up pick number 1.
Pick number 1 coming up.
But ladies and gentlemen, from Wilmington, North Carolina, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Played for the Chicago Bulls from 1994 until 1998. Then had a 2-year stint with the Washington Wizards from 2001 to 2003. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that saw him live, for those of you who have had to look it up at the highlight reels, for those of you that just heard the stories from your parents or heard about that from other players, it was undeniable. We knew that when we saw him. We knew that when he came into, after he developed into the league. We knew when we were watching him that we were watching the once in a lifetime greatest ever at his sport. And on top of that, too, I will also mention he might also have been the greatest athlete that we would ever see across any of the sports. Okay? I've broken this down now to 3 separate defenses for Michael Jordan. First one I'm going to bring up is a career little bit of a breakdown comparing it to LeBron, where I am at the end going to give LeBron his props for his longevity. I'm then going to bring up statistics and awards as my second one. And then I am going to bring up the cultural impact that Mr. King wanted to go ahead and talk about cultural impact. But ladies and gentlemen, as you are looking at this screen in front of you, and as you are looking at this picture, this is the famous 1988 slam dunk contest, where Michael Jordan took off from the free throw line at the old Chicago Stadium to beat Dominique Wilkins in the greatest slam dunk contest that happened before Vince Carter ever showed up to the NBA. Everybody had either that view or the foul line view poster somewhere in their wall if they wanted to play basketball while they were growing up. There was nothing more iconic than that slam dunk. But what nobody remembers is the way that he was brought up going all the way up into there. And I have to break down Michael Jordan's career in 3 separate zones, 4 separate zones, technically. Okay. Unlike LeBron James, and I'm going to give LeBron James on a credit for these 3. I'm going to say this is LeBron James' first 8 years, where he was with the Cleveland Cavaliers with very little help, great players that were on the decline, because he did play with Shaq, and there was another Hall of Famer, I can't remember who it was, but played with him when he was on to retirement. LeBron, during his first 8 years, 2 MVPs, 1 trip to the NBA Finals. Okay, but those first 8 years in Cleveland was his raw talent years. The next 8 years was LeBron James's excellence years. Those are the 4 years in Miami and the 4 years in the return of the 4 years return to Cleveland. Those are the years where he made 8 straight finals. Great accomplishment. Then you have the remainder of his career coming to the Lakers and what he's continued on, which includes a championship. Some people want to put an asterisk on it, but I'm not putting no asterisk on it. A championship's a championship. LeBron won the championship and the Finals MVP in the Dome. So those are the 3 segments that I have for LeBron. For Michael Jordan, I'm going to give you the first 3 years of when we knew Michael Jeffrey Jordan. That goes on picture number 3, if you don't mind, King, the 3rd picture.
All right.
This is his UNC years. You see, unlike LeBron James, it wasn't appropriate for a lot of players to go straight to the NBA. You know, times changed after 22 years. So MJ went to one of the greatest basketball schools ever and learned underneath Dean Smith at University of North Carolina and Chapel Hill. Dean Smith is commonly been joked as the only person to have held Michael Jordan to under 20 points a game. Because as a freshman, sophomore, and junior, Michael Jordan didn't average anything more than 21 points per game at his highest while he was there. But at the 3 years he was at North Carolina, Michael Jeffrey Jordan not only was the 2-time first-team All-American, he was also the 1984 National Player of the Year. Now, I'm also going over 1982, his freshman year. You see that shot that happened? You know when that was taken? That was taken at the championship game against Georgetown, who had Patrick Ewing on that team. And Patrick Ewing was actually one of the best college basketball players at that time. And Michael Jeffrey Jordan, as a 6'5" wing out on the corner, not even the main option. But Dean Smith knew that Jordan could hit that shot. An 18-year-old freshman. The entire Dean Smith's coaching career was on the line, and he trusted an 18-year-old freshman to make the game-winning shot, or the go-ahead shot. It was the end up being the game-winning shot on the national championship game on the biggest stage whatsoever. Mike Jordan became Michael Jordan that night. So I'm going to give that whole 3-year thing, and I'm also going to add one other thing in regarding this time before he went into the NBA. Michael Jordan also was on the 1984 Olympic team. And not many people remember that 1984 Olympic team because the Dream Team and every other team afterwards came and just dominated. But that 1984 Olympic team is considered the greatest of all time. It was coached by Bobby Knight. Michael Jordan was on that team because he was an incoming rookie. Him, Patrick Ewing, they were both on that team. So was Barkley. And actually, I don't think Barkley was it. Yeah, it might have been Barkley or it might have ended up being Ewing. But let me just tell you, Bobby Knight, the man who had coached and was coaching royalty, had said that summer he never saw a player as good as Michael Jordan. Came straight out of his daggone mouth. Never coached a player as talented as Jordan. Now, we get through the first 6 years of Jordan's career. This is when the absolute raw talent of Mr. Jordan comes available, okay? Now, during this time, I equate this to LeBron's first 8 years in Cleveland. LeBron had it pretty impressive because he won 2 MVPs. Well, during Jordan's first 6 years in the NBA, he only won 1 MVP. During LeBron's first 8 years in the NBA, he only made he made an NBA final. Michael Jordan couldn't get past the Detroit Pistons in 2 consecutive conference finals, and then in the second round of the 1987-1988 year, the same year that he won MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and was the All-Star Game MVP. By the way, that's also the same one from the dunk, okay? I'm bringing that up because during that time, I'm going to give it a wash, all right? I'm going to give that a little bit of a wash right there. But I'm including his Olympic time when they said it was there. But LeBron and MJ, pretty decent stats. Now, I'm going to give up these next 8 years and say that Michael Jeffrey Jordan on 1 year completely was not in those 8. He was not playing. Because, yes, he did retire. And I might have been retiring after my father might have passed away. Was murdered about a month beforehand. And, yeah, we could talk about the betting and whatsoever. But, yeah, I can definitely understand that. And then on top of that, too, the reason why he came back, nobody really remembers this, but it was because he was not going to be a replacement player for minor league baseball. It wasn't any end of suspension. He was going to play baseball. But then when baseball wasn't available, he said, fuck it, I'm coming back. And he said those 2 words, I'm back. LeBron James, in a matter of... I'm going to say this. In the 8 years between 1990, 91, that's the first season, to 1997, 1998, even taking 2 years off, Michael Jordan was the best player that had ever lived at that time. And he brought the game not only to the newest of heights, he dominated absolutely everybody. You see, when we talk about these teams outside of Miami and the Cleveland teams and these Laker teams, man, there was a lot of upsets. There was a lot of upsets. LeBron James, 10 finals, but he's 4-6. Nah, MJ is 6-0. Let me bring something up right here. He was the dynasty. Who was the dynasties during the time LeBron James played? The Spurs and the Golden State Warriors. LeBron only beat the Spurs once. LeBron only beat the Warriors once. The other times, oh, wow, they beat him. He's got a losing record against them. Man, MJ didn't allow that to happen freaking ever. Dominated from that point. And you want to talk about the people that he beat? Let's just bring up those people that he beat. He beat prime MVP Magic freaking Johnson, who everybody thought was the best player on the planet at that point. MJ took it, stole it from him. They tried to say something about Clyde Drexler being better than him. MJ shut him up on the first game. Daggone Charles Barkley becomes America's sweetheart in 1992 during the Dream Team run because he had a great play while MJ was pissing off Tony Kukoc and playing golf everywhere. So all of a sudden, because Barkley's on a new team and brought that team to a better record, well, hey, you know what? Maybe we give him the MVP. He sure as hell wasn't the best player at that time in the NBA because Jordan still was. And Jordan remembered that. And Jordan torched him for 42 on to win the daggone third title in 93. He retires for 2 years, comes back. They get, and I get it. He played with Scottie Pippen, and he had the greatest coach ever with Phil Jackson. And he had those pieces. But I'm going to give you these Hall of Famers. These are the Hall of Famers MJ played with. MJ played Hall of Fame was Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, Phil Jackson, Robert Parrish, and one other person who was a role player. Tony Kukoc ain't in the Hall of Fame. Let me bring you up who is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Oh, yeah, Dwayne Wade's already in the Hall of Fame. Chris Bosh is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Kyrie Irving is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Anthony Davis, top 70, one of the best 75. He'll be in the Hall of Fame. Oh, daggone, white boy, Love, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. Shaquille O'Neal. Dear God, do we really have more Hall of Famers that LeBron James has played with? Oh, let's talk about that one. Couldn't win that. But as I'm saying right here, this is the most dominant period in NBA history by one player, one team, and by one world. He brought the world together. LeBron James did not bring the world together to watch him play. No, they did not. Now, this is where above and beyond LeBron has the edge because the last 2 years in Washington, they don't compare to the last 7 years in whatsoever that LeBron has had over in the Lakers. Do I applaud LeBron for doing this? Yeah, okay, great, not a problem with that. But let me also bring up a stat that you said that LeBron has been going harder by playing every day. Let me ask you something. You know how many times LeBron James has played 82 games in a season during his career?
I think 0.
One time. Do you know how many times Michael Jordan has? 10. And that's including playing every game of those playoffs, going into there and training himself up. Yes, the load management and all of this crap that you've had, you're telling me that, because he played longer, that was that. No, he's only played 82 games one time in his career. He has been on load management, something that Michael Jordan has never even heard of whatsoever throughout his career. He's also been now I'm sorry, but I'm now going to get into the stats portion because I'm not going to get into my other hypotheticals and etc. about the different styles of the game. There's nothing at that. I'm going to bring up these stats right here. Michael Jordan has 31 individual awards ranging from All-NBA first teams to MVPs to Finals MVPs to All-Star Game MVPs, dunk contests, Rookies of the Years, etc. LeBron James is number 2. LeBron James is number 2 by 13 more. Oh, and might I add, LeBron James has also played. Now we're going on 8 years longer than MJ. All right. Points per game, which is something that a lot of people consider the scoring championship. MJ is all time. He had 30 points per game. Yes, the longevity of that, LeBron James is now in the top, is now the all-time leading scorer. MJ is now number 5. He was never the all-time leading scorer, might I add, but on points per game, he still has it. The number of 30-point games, yeah, LeBron James needed about 500 people to go ahead and pass that. But I'm going to bring something up right here that nobody brings up regarding LeBron James and, his versatility, because everybody says, oh, he can guard all 5 positions. He's only really guarded 4 positions. LeBron James does not rank in the top 20 in any of the all-time defensive stats of steals and blocks. Do you know who number 3 all-time is on steals?
Jordan.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Do you know who the all-time leader in blocks for his career as a shooting guard is? Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Do you know who are the only 3 people in NBA history to have won Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, and Finals MVP all in the same season? Giannis Antetokounmpo, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, and Michael Jeffrey Jordan. MJ on a per 36 outdoes everything with LeBron. MJ on normal stats, and I'm going to bring up some of the stats that when you are looking at baskets from 0 to 3 feet, LeBron James has had more baskets from 0 to 3 feet. But when you look at the shooting from 3 feet to 22 feet, MJ has got a far higher shooting percentage than that. When you look at the 3-point field goal percentage, you realize that LeBron has hoisted up a hell of a lot more 3-point field goals, but they are equal together. 75% or so, or less than 75%, free throw shooter for LeBron James, 80% for MJ's career. If I bring up any type of advanced stats and statistics, the number 1 person that ends up coming around all time on net ratings, player efficiency, and all of these other great things that don't deal with longevity is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. When the greatest teams of all times come out, those Cleveland teams and those Heat teams, they're never really up for consideration. In fact, actually, the greatest team of all time, a lot of people say, was the 73-9 Warriors that LeBron James beat. No, it isn't. It is the 72-10 1955 and 1996 Chicago Bulls. And the reason why I say that is because they won the freaking championship. They didn't blow a 3-1 lead. Now, as impressive as LeBron was by bringing him and Kyrie back onto, to bring that team back from 3-1, that's great. Not a problem there. I'm not diminishing that. MJ never needed to come back down 3-1 in the NBA Finals. And now I want you to bring up picture number 3, or picture number 2 right now, King. And that comes to this. This is the end of my statistics, but I wanted to bring up this shot. The shot. Actually, the shot 2, because the shot in Cleveland is the first shot, but this is the final shot. Now, Michael Jordan attempted about 50 some odd or so game-tying, game-winning shots in the last 5 seconds of the game or so, and he was successful on like 29 of them. Something ridiculous, about 49.7, which is what his total field goal percentage was. His field goal percentage in pressure situations never changed from when it was in a game. There have been, I don't remember anything except for a couple last-minute heaves of LeBron James to actually be utilized, for that. In fact, let me be quite honest here. There's been multiple times where LeBron James has passed up that last shot, has not wanted to go to the free throw line because he's a liability at the line, and has passed it out to other people to the detriment of his team winning or losing because he did not want to take that shot. Kobe Bryant had to learn to take the shot from the greatest of all time because the person who was not afraid to take that shot was Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And on what should have been his last shot, he pulled off the greatest sequence of events that should have ended a career as it was. I wish that those 2 years in Washington were done because that final shot, that desperation you see in that crowd right there, the realization that they are going to lose, the adulation from that one or two Bulls fans knowing that shot, that follow through, the 14s that he's wearing, the last shot, Jordan 14s, the only time he ever fucking wore. Oh, man. So, that is one of the definitive moments in NBA history. I can't tell you what LeBron has ever done to be something as great as one of these. Might I also, LeBron James has only gone back to back. MJ had to go back to back to back. And he did it twice. Now, because we're talking about impact. Oh, my friend. There would not be the athlete global reach without Michael Jeffrey Jordan. There were songs about him, and I'm not talking about jingles, that went to commercials. Ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, the dream I groove. Oh, the dream I move. Like Mike. Oh, my God. And you know what? Just that song itself spawned off a fucking movie that had nothing to do with Michael Jordan. It had to do with his shoes. Oh, wait a minute. Are you talking about the shoes that the one and only Mr. Bugs Bunny has on right there? The Air Jordan 8 Hairs, which are coming out in daggone November for a re-release, and I'm hoping to get them. Let me say that again. His shoes. Man. Sneakers were all a team sport before MJ came along. Nobody had a signature. Not only the signature shoe, he made the signature shoe line where every shoe that he wore while he was playing is the James shoe that ever came out. And they're still selling, updating his flagship out in a week or 2 weeks. They're still making his shoes. They're still coming out with new versions of them. His song from Gatorade, we were drinking Michael Jordan. We were wearing his stuff. Man, if we had to eat something like, and you better go knock down a Sprite while Larry Bird is playing horse for you. Man, MJ told you what to eat. MJ told you what to wear. It only hit adults. It hit kids. As you can see right there, there is one and only Mr. Bugs Bunny. MJ was so daggone movie with the training center as he was coming out of retirement. And from my understanding, the games that were played on the Space Jam set were as what he was going to transform himself to 95 and 96. But he made a freaking movie with Bugs Bunny. Made millions of daggone dollars. And on top of that, came out with a second song that was about him. And I'm so sorry that this is the one who sang, I believe I can fly. I believe I'm gonna piss on her. Anyway, he has not only gotten our food, he's not only gotten our shoes, he's not only gotten our drink, but you know what? He never showed him essential. And it brings me up on the final point. There's only one thing, two things, three things, if you want to really, in order to live. You need water. You need sustenance. And you need air. Essential thing that you need to live is to breathe. You can go without water for a while. You go without food for a long time. You know Michael Jordan, his nickname, Air, the most essential element. The man was essential. The man was everywhere. The man never called himself the king. The man knew that he was the one who would take the shot, the one who had to be the best at everything, and the one who had to deliver the win. Buddy was standing in the lobby from the Dream Team in 1992. Ahmad Rashad asked Michael Jordan, game's tied, 2 seconds left, asked that to Michael Jordan. MJ looked at him with a shocked grin of, how dare you ask me that? Looked at him, said, me, member of that Dream Team. 11 future Hall of Famers. That team went into the Hall of Fame. All of them. At the end of all time. And I'm going to debate this till the end of my life. And here is why I say this. My father had tickets to the New Jersey Nets over at the Brendan Byrne Arena. We also had New Jersey Devils tickets. Nets sucked. Okay? The Nets were fucking horrible in those years. I mean, they were bad. There wasn't a lot of people at those games. It was pretty calm on a lot of them. But there was only one game that I remember being an absolute set. And Michael Jordan came to play. And let me tell you, every seat was filled. And that was the first time I have ever seen titties in my life. Was at the Brendan Byrne Arena when these the place screamed, "Hey, Michael!" and showed them their tatas right there behind the bench. Great. For the first time ever, I knew that I liked women. And that was all thanks to MJ getting flashed, my friends. True, I will tell you that, yes, that did happen. But, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jordan not only impacts the game of basketball, my final closing point is that at the end of the day, LeBron James is going to retire as many more he can get. He's done some great accomplishments, won 4 MVPs, won 4 NBA championships, 3 different teams, beat some really good teams during this time. was the most dominant team. Definitely was a dominant player, but he wasn't the alpha. He never was. That, my friends, is Michael Jordan. Yeah.
All right, all right. That was very inspiring. Very inspiring. Took you, for me to have had a player that has lasted longer. It took you twice the amount of time to get your points across. But you know what, Michael Jordan?
Of the evidence. There's more evidence to MJ than there'll ever be.
I'm going to say this. There was something
for
that you
LeBron
highlighted that I
James.
didn't really think about, but I looked it up and I didn't realize that Jordan was that much better at the free throw line over LeBron. You had
Oh,
a
yeah.
80% versus a 75%.
hmm and now this is where I wanted to debate. I didn't want to debate about the differences of playing because we could talk about the bad boys, him getting his ass kicked, and the hand points from the time MJ played to the lessening of the rules, the getting rid of the hand check, the emphasis on.
What do you
If you
think it
look at
is?
if you no, I'm almost definite that like MJ has like a 34% free 3-point field goal
I'm
percentage, and I
looking at
want to say stood up like
I'm
2,000
looking at
more.
32 for Jordan, 32.7 and 34.7 for LeBron.
Okay, so yeah, the 2 point more. So
But
now this is
I was gonna say
where.
though, let me
Okay,
ask you
go
because
ahead, buddy.
Jordan didn't take as many. Like his volume of 3 point shots was definitely a lot lower, but because the 3 point shot wasn't necessarily emphasized when Jordan was playing. But if you, to me, I don't know if
Yeah.
you extrapolate it over time, I I think they're neck and neck still. I mean, it's a 2.2 percentage difference, but I think they're still neck and neck.
Oh, no, and I get that. And look, we could talk and like I said, I say LeBron has the best case out of all. But you literally and look, LeBron made a friggin' great case. But there is more of a case against him than there's a case. I'm getting a little bit off here. But I'm thinking about this. How many Mount Rushmore players were playing during Michael Jordan's time when he was at the greatest? And I'm talking about from 90 to 91 to 98. During that time,
You could rattle off,
I can rattle off maybe five.
yeah.
Okay. But the reason why I say five is because Elijah Wan would be on there for one of the greatest centers. Shaq was not the greatest at that time. He was nice and raw at that point. He wasn't as polished. And let's be honest, LeBron James didn't see a polish. Well, did see one in Miami, but you know, Kevin Durant has been considered greater than LeBron, and there's a case for KD more than there's a case for KD to be considered at all time. Steph, Steph has done more to change the game than LeBron has. I'm also going to bring up Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan's more successful than LeBron ever was. Now, LeBron was versatile. LeBron can play all five positions. And I love that versatility of where he played and the longevity of it. But longevity only goes so far. Your impact, regardless of where that comes, has to be when you were playing. MJ impacted more players and played against more Hall of Famers and was always considered the best by those players. I never hear LeBron or KD saying, LeBron's the best. I don't hear Steph saying that. I don't hear other people saying that LeBron was the best. Okay. I hear more people telling me that Kobe is better than LeBron. That's where I'm coming from. I hear Kobe more than I hear, that's where it comes from. During that time that MJ was playing, there was no doubt that he was the best player. There was no doubt from 1991 to 97, 98. There was no doubt, regardless of how many MVPs he won, because LeBron could have won more MVPs too. That first year in Miami, he should have won the MVP, but people were pissed off at him. That year with Barkley, MJ was still the best player of the league. That year that Malone won it, MJ was still the best player in the league, and they were still a little pissed off that Jordan kept doing it because it was the same old, same old. So the MVP thing, look, 4-6 or 4-5. MJ still has it, but LeBron should have some more. But at the same time, MJ should have more. My last little bit. What's that MVP award's name?
The Larry O'Brien Award, right?
No, it's not. No. No. In fact, let me give you guys something else here.
What am I thinking now?
Oh, no, the Larry O'Brien is the NBA championship.
Okay.
The Bill Russell is the NBA Finals MVP. Which might I also add is 6 times. LeBron's got 4, good for him, but MJ's got 6. The All-Star Game MVP, the Kobe Award, the Kobe Bryant Trophy. Oh, by the way, you know that they have the Eastern Conference MVP and the Western Conference MVP. You know what theirs are?
Mm-hmm.
The Larry Bird and the Irving Magic Johnson trophies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the MVP, the greatest player of that season. What's the name of that trophy?
As of 2022 and beyond, the Michael Jordan Trophy.
Oh.
What do you think's gonna happen once LeBron retires, though?
Rookie of the Year.
Huh. That's it?
Oh, no. Yes, I give that the LeBron James Rookie of the Year. No, here's my reasoning. They've already given it out to anybody else. They're not going to rescind it to anyone. They're not going to rescind it against Russell. They're not going to rescind it against Bird or Magic. They're sure as hell not going to do that to Kobe because fucking A, the Lakers will go freaking ape shit. And so will Vanessa Bryant, needed to be so. Sure as hell ain't going to take that off of MJ. The only other awards that are open right now, and I don't know if the Defensive Player of the Year has ever been done, but I mean, in my case, I don't think it has to be done just yet. But the Rookie of the Year is not done, has not been named yet. I believe because LeBron James was the most hyped rookie ever, was the most anticipated rookie ever, and delivered as that rookie, even though MJ delivered better in his rookie season. I believe that that's where they're going to kind of go with LeBron James because that's the last one that they can ever name after a GOAT. I mean, look, you're not going to name it as Steph Curry because Steph Curry's not going to, it wasn't Rookie of the Year. LeBron James was. You're not going to name the Defensive Player of the Year after LeBron James because even though LeBron James played 4 positions, did other things, might I also add, he didn't play the best players, neither did MJ, because, both of them had great players who played defense next to him. But LeBron James never won Defensive Player of the Year. There's only one other award that he's won, and it was rookie. So it makes sense.
Man. I was thinking, well, what about the scoring title? But Jordan has 10, LeBron only has 1. But I think
can't even, and you know what? You can't even give him the assist title either. But I think because he's only got 1.
Yeah, but I think you would create. The league would create something, just like how they renamed the Michael Jordan Trophy after Jordan. I think the league would create something for LeBron.
Well, that's where I'm coming from. Like, what would you create? The most improved player came back. They actually got rid of most improved player because there was people who were taking drugs, getting suspended for a year, and then coming back from suspension. The most improved player wouldn't have to go to that. The humanitarian awards. There's, look, LeBron might get a humanitarian award or whatever they have. You sure as hell, what did Jalen Brunson win this year? The Clutch Player of the Year award? You sure as fucking naming that after LeBron. I'm just saying. You're not going to name clutch after somebody who was 4-6 in the fucking NBA playoffs and got swept twice. Just saying. What could it be? The GM of the Year award? I mean, I'm just what could they do? They're not going to give him the sixth man award. Am I still here?
We'll come back to it.
Okay. All right.
We'll come back
All right.
to it.
What do we get in the comments up here, man? I'm not
Let's
even
see.
looking at. Yeah.
You know what? Let's take a look at the comments, and while we do that, David Cunningham, get ready to give us our show sign off here. So we got David Cunningham. He wrote the following. Going back to where we were talking about LeBron, he said LeBron also started his NBA career out of high school and is a great family man. And then he made the pivot to talk about Michael Jordan when you got on Michael Jordan and said Michael Jordan was the greatest closer of all times. He put butts in seats at every arena. He changed the world merchandising business of sports apparel, and he is still prevalent today. Michael Jordan also had the most NBA sports TV ratings of all times in his time.
Yeah, and all right, the rating thing, I will give it as the ratings, but I will also mention something else. Ratings after like the proliferation of cable and right around that time with the internet and ratings in the 90s and early 2000s were definitely at its peak, but they're also completely different than what is happening right now with the way that we're streaming. So I don't like to get into a ratings debate because we are talking about different eras and different aspects as far as that. Putting butts in seats and generating revenue, hell yes, that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the
Hey,
jury.
wait a minute. Wait,
Oh.
King. I almost forgot something too. And you have to
See, he's about to tell
sorry
a lie.
about
That's
that.
why he's over
Sorry.
coughing.
Sorry. No. I just thought about this, and this is regarding that GM thing, which I'm applauding LeBron for putting the power into it. But the power, the first ever true power play of a player going over and saying, no, I'm making my own decision as an owner over the owner, actually belongs to Jordan. And you know why I'm bringing this up from?
Where? What?
All right. 95-96 after the 72-10 year, and by the way, also one of the years that he won MVP, All-Star Game MVP, and Finals MVP. One of three players to have done that. And LeBron hasn't. That year, that 96-97 year, he was a free agent. And he signed a 1-year deal for $30 million. He not only set a fucking benchmark, he exceeded the highest salary by freaking 33%, because at that time it was Kevin Garnett with a 6-year $126 million deal. He put it so hard that the Bulls had to win championships just to break even. Jerry Reinsdorf has even said it's the worst thing that he ever did, but he was bent over the plate. MJ took that power play and got 2 paychecks. He made them freaking pay for $63 million for 2 additional championships. MJ took that, and that was the first ever power play of a player over an owner. Just saying.
Copy all.
Yeah.
Now,
Have I gone on too long about MJ?
you have.
Shit, I got you.
No, I'm just messing with you, Coach. I'm salty. That's all. I'm just salty. It's
all right, man. It's all right. Look, it's nothing against LeBron, but there's only going to be one. And until there is somebody definitive that can do what MJ did for as long as LeBron did, MJ is still going to be the greatest.
Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've laid out the evidence. You've heard the stats. You've heard the arguments. Is it Jordan with his flawless final record, as Coach laid out, along with many other things like his cultural contribution to the world of sports? Or is it LeBron, as I've laid out, the all-time leader in points, versatility, and longevity? It's up for you to decide. If you catch this live or you're watching the replay, who is your GOAT? Jordan or LeBron? Or is it someone else? This is the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio, and the debate will not end here. As Coach said earlier, this will likely be a debate for as long as one or both of us are no longer breathing on this fine earth. So drop your comments below. As we said at the beginning of the stream, this will be our last live stream for the month of June, obviously. We will not be live streaming in the month of July, as I am going on vacation, and we are doing a refresh of the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio. We also announced that starting in August, when we come back and have our first show, that we will be going live on Wednesdays instead of Sundays. Coach's avatar might change. This face won't. And we hope that you, the viewers, would tune in to us on Wednesdays as well. Pop Culture Warrior said that it's so obvious it is Jordan and it's a no-brainer. Well, Pop Culture Warrior, stick to pop culture. Don't come over here to sports. This is my
Oh,
thing.
damn. Damn.
Now, to all 220
I mean,
live stream viewers right now, from Coach and I, we want to give a salute and say thank you for viewing. Coach, you had something to say before we sign off?
yeah. Hey, look, and this is where civil debate comes in. There are a lot of people that will have strong comments, but I also realize that it also has to do with perspective. For those of you that have ever have to watch Michael Jordan on YouTube, and well, basically you grew up watching them, you wouldn't realize that how great the players were before that. And I was ignorant of it too, because I never knew how great Bill Russell was, and I also never knew how great Julius Erving was until I had the chance to go back and watch it. Now, with this great internet that we have, you can go back and hopefully watch a lot of things that aren't copyrighted. But I will also mention that there is going to be a 40-minute video on YouTube of all of MJ's highlights reels, and it's got about 6 million views on it right now. And let me just tell you, if you ever want to have your breath taken away for 40 minutes and just go, what in the hell happened here? You'll see this video and you will be astonished at what you have seen Michael Jeffrey Jordan do on the basketball court in his career.
Copy all. Thank you, Coach.
Man, I'm killing you on this today, buddy. I'm sorry.
Tomorrow, we have the Monday edition, led by our main man, Ice. Looking at the calendar, I see a guest in here, Jeff Wilson, Patriotic Thrillers. So be sure to tune in for that. I'm pretty sure that Ice on the Monday edition is also going to talk about what occurred in Idaho today, as there was an active sniper situation as a wildfire was set ablaze. I'm pretty sure that those two are related and that 2 firefighters were killed while trying to put out this fire. It is a situation that's ongoing right now. That's all that I have about it, but Ice is likely going to talk about that during the Monday edition. So tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time Zone and on U.S. Army WTF Nation, the voice of U.S. Army WTF Moments. I think I messed that up. At WTF Nation Radio. There we go. All right.
All right,
now, let's give our closeout here by David Cunningham. David said, sports fans, thank you for tuning in to the WTF Nation Radio Sports Bar. King and Coach, you've knocked it out of the park as usual. I hope everyone is ready for some football. As for me, I can't wait until the NFL season starts July 31st. Have a blessed week and a safe and sane Independence Day, which is the 4th of July that's coming up on this upcoming Friday. Thank you all. From Coach to me, I give you a salute. Y'all have a good night.
Peace.